This is John Michael Grogan with Advancing Your World. Today I'd like to share some ideas with you regarding persistence.
Dr. John Michael Grogan is a worldwide best-selling author and speaker. In this podcast, Advancing Your World, Dr. John Michael will help you position yourself for success by achieving greater purpose, significance, and exceptionalism. Now, here's Dr. John Michael Grogan.
Someone once parked a Chrysler automobile on the circular drive of the Ford Motor Company headquarters building. After a week went by and the car was still there, people began to wonder who the owner was. Another week went by, and the car was still parked in the same place. After the third week, someone in a staff meeting called it to Mr. Ford's attention and asked if he knew who the car belonged to. Mr. Ford said that it was his car. He bought it. This sent the room into a hushed speculation as to why he would do such a thing. What was the meaning of it? Another staff member was bold enough to press Mr. Ford and ask why he would buy a competitor's car and park it in front of his own headquarters building. Mr. Ford growled, "Because no one around here asked me to buy a Ford." He was driving home a key point in selling. If you want someone's business, you have to ask for it, much like the politician asking for a vote. There are many good books out there on closing the sale, but I might suggest that you invest in a resource library. Doctors and attorneys have long done this. They understand that you can't know everything there is to know about your chosen profession. The more you know about your business, the more you compound your chances for success. Not to be overlooked, of course, is the human side of selling. It is still true today that selling is 80% people knowledge and 20% product knowledge. We're really all in sales if you think about it. If my wife asks me to go to the store and buy some milk and bread, and I don't want to, she is either going to make the sale or I'm going to make the sale. She is either going to sell me on the idea of going or I'm going to sell her on the idea that I'm not going. I will have to acknowledge that she usually makes the sale. One of Vince Lombardi's most memorable quotes is, "When the going gets tough, the tough get going." Anyone can persist during calm seas with sails full of wind, but only the brave and persistent can make it through churlish seas. Persistence is the most admirable of character traits we can cultivate, because there are more doubters in life than believers. When Robert Fulton was working on his steamboat, for example, the people lined the shore laughing and mocking, saying he'll never get the thing to float. Then, when he got it proudly steaming up the Hudson River in 1807, they said, "You watch, he'll never get the thing to stop." You'll never see a monument erected to a critic. Some people, when they point to the stars, look at their finger. They have no imagination or long-term view, no creativity. They are clouds with no rain and bring goodwill and cheer whenever they leave. Persistence, or its synonym, perseverance, is taken from two Greek words, up and hold. It is a military term, conveying the idea of abiding, bearing with, not fainting or suffering the loss of courage. Perseverance describes the quality of carrying on under problematic circumstances without passive resignation, to persist with hope and fortitude while actively resisting both weariness and surrender to fear and doubt. A well-known proverb states it this way: "If you fall to pieces in times of challenge, there wasn't much to you in the first place." The word meek has an interesting origin. It comes from the Greek word pros, which means strength under control. In ancient Greece, Horses for battle were called pros horses, trained to be meek, strong, and powerful, yet under control, and willing to submit. This was because the horse soldier had to keep both hands free to hold the shield with one hand and wield the sword with the other. The horse was trained to respond to knee and heel pressure from the rider. Dr. Carol Canchier is the author of the best-selling book Questers, Dare to Change Your Job and Life. Offers these tips for persevering. Number 1, clarify your goal. Think in specific terms and not in general, sweeping, abstract terms. 2, focus on your purpose daily. 3, maintain optimism. Perhaps keep a journal of your positive experiences and successes. 4, live in the present. Don't dwell in the past. Let go of attachments. The tighter you try to hold on to something, the greater the fear of losing it. 5, experiment with new ways of improving a product or service. Resort to your library to see how others achieved similar goals. Wayne Gretzky, often called the greatest hockey player ever, said, "You'll always miss the shot you failed to take." 6, hold your desired outcome firmly in your mind. And 7, care for your mind, body, emotions, and spirit. Take time to think, to reassess your path, to see if you're still on the right rail. Take time to exhale. Don't get wound up tighter than a cuckoo clock. Pretty good advice, I'd say. As I've said in the past, success comes from doing many little things right, not doing 1 or 2 things well. Not long ago, I heard Derwin Gray, a pastor, say that when we locate our identity, self-worth, and significance, and embrace our life in Christ, we are freed from the pressure to perform and released to think patient, persistent, progression, and not perfection. This belief leads to better performance, he contends. No less than God himself says, "Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me, get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to enjoy a rest, a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do things in your life. I won't lay anything on you too heavy for you to bear. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely." So many of us live in troubled waters, heavy laden with burdens of distress, affliction, guilt, danger, or need. While it is true that the Lord's mercy often rides to the door of our heart upon the black horse of affliction, Charles Spurgeon said, "He will change our fortunes if we heed his call." Non legitimus carborundum. Until next time, this is John Michael Grogan saying, be strong, be bold, and be courageous.
Sign up for exclusive access to Dr. Grogan's newsletter, and as an added bonus, you'll receive access to the growth chart that Dr. Grogan talks about in the podcast Majoring in the Majors. Visit johnmgrogan.com and sign up today. That's johnmgrogan.com. And don't forget, subscribe to Advancing Your World on your favorite podcast app.